Hello, I'm DeanKind and welcome to another Quickie where we'll be looking at Fallout. I'm only joking, I ain't playing that shit. I'm playing The Outer Worlds. Now, The Outer Worlds was on my top 10 games from E3 last year that I was really looking forward to, and guess what? I was right. Published by Private Division and developed by the sexy beasts at Obsidian Entertainment, who you might remember making tiny shitty games like Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, and South Park Stick of Truth. So, you know, a tiny wee company that don't make good games. Now, I do have to stress, Obsidian Entertainment have gone on record saying they don't like their game being compared to the disastrous Fallout 76, probably out of respect and being a class act above Bethesda nowadays. But, saying that, it is difficult to not compare it to Bethesda's Fallout because it is Fallout, but better. No one wanted a live service Fallout game, and it was immediately apparent that Bethesda wanted to make as much money as possible by doing as little as possible. From microtransactions to a terrible subscription service to the shitty Atomic Shop with outrageous prices. And that's not even talking about the fucking bugs or lies. For more in-depth lols at Bethesda's fuck-up of Fallout 76, check out Matt McMuscle's two-part take on it or Internet Historians. It's honestly hilarious, and I take no pride in laughing at it. The more companies putting out amazing games, the better it is for you and for me. I wasn't even that huge on Fallout 4. I found it good at times and annoying at times. I had no interest in crafting or building, and the whole networking thing was also super annoying. And no Preston, I ain't helping you for the millionth time, piss off! Fallout 3 and New Vegas were some of my favourite games on the last gen, a well crafted game based around missions, decisions and stories. Nothing to pad out the game longer than it needed to be, simple game with simple mechanics and nothing begging for extra cash except for story driven DLCs that were well worth the money. Classic Bethesda and Obsidian. Well, unlike Bethesda, Obsidian has stuck with the true and tested classic way of releasing games, with a great game worth £45 at launch, no microtransactions and no e-begging. Great story, great missions with coherent NPCs, an interesting setting with satisfying shooting mechanics to boot. It's not reinventing the wheel or anything, but what it does well. The Outer Worlds keeps with traditional RPG mechanics, level up, add perks, etc. But in an interesting twist of fate, you can also add flaws to your character, which you might think, well, why would I accept a flaw? Well, the trade-off is that you get to add a perk on top of your flaw. So for instance, you might be more vulnerable to corrosive attacks, but you can add a perk like Lone Wolf that grants you an additional 25% damage whilst travelling alone. It's an interesting give and take mechanic that makes you stop and think. I personally didn't add any flaws during my playthrough. I didn't want anything to catch me off guard. Speaking of catching you off guard, be careful where you wander around. Now, as a seasoned RPGer knows, if the map tells you to go right to your destination, you go left to check and see if there's any loot or secrets to be found. And whilst that is still a thing in this game, there are massive spikes in difficulty if you wander to areas you're not meant to be at yet. I mean, right at the beginning of the game, I didn't want to go straight to the city, so I decided to look around and boom! Dead. So as usual with these types of games I play, some grinding is involved, but it is enjoyable and you find plenty of loot on your travels, so it's all good. Now as for the story, it's a little everywhere. It takes place in an alternative future, something to do with a US president not being assassinated, therefore Teddy Roosevelt was never president, which means large business trusts were never broken up, leading to megacorporations ruling everything, including colonising space. Honestly, I didn't care much for that part of the story, but it's interesting nonetheless. I was more interested in what I'm doing and what I can do to change things up, and this is where you meet up with Wells, who rescues your ass from cryogenics and gives you the lowdown on what's going on and what has happened during your sleep. A funny NPC who is wanted by the board for being a terrorist. So, of course you help him.
The holographic shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. It modulates your voice and sweetens your breath. Science, that's how.
Giving you choices which can make you a badass or an angel, everything you do and say has consequences, so paying attention to what's being said is a necessity if you're striving for some sort of conclusion, because randomly skipping dialogue could make things very difficult for you. For example, after a long session of playing, I wasn't paying super attention at one point and ended up needing to pay for some item which costed a fortune to buy. So I had to reload a previous save file and lost about 3 hours of progress. Whoops. With that being said, it did also show me that there are multiple ways of doing nearly every mission. You can try and sneak and steal items, or you can chat your way through missions.
Attempting to disengage security protocols without proper authorization is a fireable offense. Priming weapons. Executive level password accepted as identification according to employee ID.
Or go in the old true and tested way and gun your way through.
I was so sure you had potential.
Watch out! Bring them down!
So replay value is pretty damn high in this game. Like Fallout, you also get companions, but this time you can have 2 to fight by your side. You have the choices of Parvati, Ellie, Felix, Vicar Max, Sam and Nyoka. My 2 personal faves are Parvati and Felix. Parvati is so sweet and innocent and Felix is so naive. They're all very talkative except Sap, and they all have personal quests, which I always love in these types of games. And whilst Parvati and Felix are my 2 go-to guys, Vicar Max had the best personal quest, but I shan't spoil it. Music wise, I don't remember much, mostly atmospheric ambient sounds, which is perfect because it'd be weird to hear a random song during gameplay, so it suits. Graphically, it's nice, the colours are beautiful and eye-pleasing, whilst Fallout has that orangey nuclear blast look about it, which is perfect and matches the narrative for their games. The Outer Worlds freshens things up with adding lots of colours to their weird alien planets, and it's so abnormal yet pleasing to look at, and playing it on an Xbox One X with a 4K TV was even more sexy to look at. I didn't come across any bugs or glitches, so I'm pleased to say my playthrough was plain sailing. Happy times for me. All in all, I loved it. I couldn't ask for a better team to make this kind of game, which has seen my cravings fixed, so thank you, Obsidian.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're scum! We suck!
So I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I think after some story-driven DLCs which have been hinted at are released, maybe it'll climb to a 9.5 or maybe even a 10 out of 10. I loved it. So, until next time my beautiful pixels, be good to each other and have a nice day. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, and I'm sorry, this is a wee bit off topic, but it's recently come to our attention that someone got flamed on Reddit for trying to share our videos. Whilst we appreciate and encourage to share our videos, please take note of rules and regulations of where you share our videos, yeah? I mean, I've got thick skin and can handle criticism, but it doesn't mean you need to put yourself in the line of fire. But for real, thank you for sharing and trying to help our channel grow, but didn't get involved in the drama. It doesn't help anyone, and least of all, my little lovely pixel people, because I love you guys, and I really didn't want to see you getting all upset and getting involved in internet drama, because it's not worth it, yo. It's totally not worth it. But thank you anyway. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Love you guys. Mwah.